Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In Conversation by Wiser Coach. Today in conversation, our guest once again is Mr. Raghav Iyengar, Chief Executive Officer with 361 Asset. Welcome, Raghav, once again to In
Thank you,
Conversation with
Suren.
Wiser Coach.
Thank you, Advisor Coach. Always a pleasure to be on this lovely chat, especially with you. And as I mentioned in private earlier, I'll mention it in public. Suren, you're getting younger by the day. I think you should do a telecast for all our friends, especially our MFD friends, the secret to getting younger, you know, despite adverse market situation, so
That's why adverse
that'll be a
market.
more interesting conversation. I'm sure we get lots of views.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, Raghav, how's the new fund going? I believe you've been traveling a lot.
Been traveling a lot, yes. I think, something I learned long time back from a senior colleague in the AMC industry was when things are not great, you should try and be on the road as far as possible.
Very true.
I
Very
think,
true.
and it's not for anything else. I think the conversation is broadly the same. Obviously, we are in an era of uncertainty. We are in an era of volatility. I think if you put on CNBC, you get all these words very often
Very
during the
true.
day. But just the fact that, Suren, having a face-to-face conversation, talking to a partner specifically, sort of figuring out what their client queries are, it just more than anything makes me take better investment decisions, yeah, or market
Absolutely.
decisions generally.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, that's what I've been doing. 10 cities, 30 days, sort of reminded me of my younger days. But good thing is, I must say, and I've been to some of these cities, Suren, after a very long time.
Uh-huh.
Couple I went after COVID, so it's almost
Uh,
like 5, 6 years, and it's quite fantastic. The kind of level of infrastructure improvement, it's
absolutely.
quite
Yeah.
amazing. Airports, roads, connectivity, it's quite
Very true.
fabulous,
Very true.
quite fabulous. I mean,
Absolutely.
I have been going to these thanks to what I do. I've been traveling to these places for a very long time. So this would be possibly my seventh, eighth trip. But in the last trip to this trip, the level of progress, especially physical progress, has been quite
Yes.
mind-blowing.
Yes. It's remarkable.
And the second thing, of course, is everybody takes QR, Suren, now. So whether you go have a cup of tea on the road or you're having a Coca-Cola or anything, even a 10 buck item, it's practically today a cashless economy.
Mm.
Earlier, you and I would be worried about getting out of our house without our wallet.
Mm.
Frankly, I think your phone sort of solves it for you
It
completely.
completely takes care of everything. Absolutely.
Completely solves it
Absolutely.
for you. So
Absolutely.
so it's quite deadly that way. And I think, when you see these things, suddenly PowerPoint to reality becomes very clear.
Correct.
And you're talking about the infrastructure and everything. So that way I'm very happy. And I think I would love to do more of this. Obviously,
Absolutely.
once the
Absolutely.
X top 100 gets done, I'll do one more 10
Uh,
city, and then maybe we should do another trip just to figure that out. Yeah.
and the best part is our job role involves to
Yeah,
travel
it's great fun. I
and
think
experience
that's
this.
that's
So
a
good.
perquisite of my job actually. I don't
Absolutely.
call it a duty.
Absolutely.
I call it a perquisite. I get to meet very interesting people.
Yes.
I
Yes.
get to
So much
travel,
to learn from them.
and
Absolutely.
I think India is a collection of many economies. If you ask me,
Yes.
I don't think
Absolutely.
obviously it's a single state. Proud to be an Indian, but level of development is very different. But
True.
interestingly, the level of catch up is very quick now.
Mm. Very
So
true.
yes, there is a material difference between when you look at the south and the north, for example. But the way the north parts of the country are catching up, especially the central north, has been very mind-blowing.
Yes. Very true.
Just completely
Absolutely.
mind blowing. I mean, and I
Totally
think
agree
it's
with you.
just really clipping at a different pace. So, I mean, I'm just thinking to my mind that, hey, these were the states which maybe 20 years back had a slightly lower GDP growth compared to the national average. And, some of the other states, especially Maharashtra, Gujarat, the South used to sort of, because of their high growth rates, would actually pull the overall growth rate up. Uh,
Yes.
I'm just thinking to my mind now, imagine maybe 4, 5 years later when all this infrastructure kicks in and these states start giving you 9, 10, 11% growth. And obviously the South and Maharashtra, Gujarat will always continue to do that.
Yes. Yes.
I think it'll take us into a different system altogether. And I think that
Absolutely.
when it gets translated
Mm.
into markets is
Oh, yes. Yes.
where frankly magic could possibly happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. That tailwind effect has not yet come
Okay,
in.
no. In fact, it's not.
Absolutely.
It's not.
Because when I talk to people कुछ हुआ ही नहीं है. I
Yeah,
said go out, meet people. The
yeah.
way they'll talk to you, you'll realize कितना कुछ हो गया है.
Yeah.
What the mind shift change has happened, etc.
Absolutely.
Besides the infrastructure part, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So
Completely.
Raghav, 361 Asset has been very active in the past 1 year. SIFs and a lot of activities. First the equity long short, then the asset allocator. Now we have the Dyna equity X top 100 long short fund. Now, how has it been experience been, launching these SIF funds till date? Of course, we'll get into the Dyna SIF Equity X top 100 soon, but how the experience has been launching all these SIFs till date?
No, so I'll take a step back, Surin, because we actually started, our first set of funds, and coincidentally, we started a gold and silver ETF in
Hmm.
24, and then we did 24, 25, and then we did the multi-asset fund in August 25. And we sort of framed it a bit differently. We really sort of gave it a really multi-asset flavor. So, as per my offer document, equities is 15 to 35, which is pretty much an abnormality in that category, where most multi-asset funds are actually equity plus. Ours had a sort of an equity minus, and we gave a commodities a fairly heavy tilt there, like a 25 to 40%. We also had put the option of putting some investments into silver. And then obviously the remaining was fixed income, which is the balance. And in I can only say in hindsight that combination really worked well for our investors' benefit.
Hmm.
I think so. In some sense, we are very happy to do these things where we can add material value to investors. And the whole credo of multi-asset was that we have three specialists. Obviously, Mayur looks after our equity portion, Milan looks after our fixed income portion, and Rahul, who's a commodity specialist, looks after the
Hmm.
commodity
Hmm.
portion.
Hmm.
And then we tied this all up with an asset allocation committee. And so the whole fun was in the process. And obviously, the process is good. So then you can then AUM is not a worry. Then you're not very
Correct.
stressed about, अरे इतना पैसे आएगा तो क्या होगा kind of a situation.
It's a process.
It's a
Hmm.
process. And the same thought process applies to the whole Dyna series too.
Hmm.
So one is, of course, as an entity which had less than 10,000 crores of average AUM, we had to get a specialist fund manager.
Hmm.
Fortunately, Anup was group CIO for us, so it was easy for us to do.
Hmm.
And that process took some time. But I must say that the regulator really, I think, has been so forward-looking on this asset class. It's quite amazing, actually. So when people tell me that we are a little ancient behind the times, I just
Hmm.
point to this one product example and tell them that it took all of maybe under 12 months from literally concept
Hmm.
to being listed out and
Hmm.
funds
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
launched.
Hmm.
So the name Dyna, as we've spoken about this, but I just for the sake of our friends who are watching, Dyna means is action, right? Basically, it's a Greek word
Dynamic.
pointing at dynamic. So I think comes from the Greek word dynus. So I think that's
Hmm.
how, and this is fairly an action-led
Hmm.
asset class,
Hmm.
because you have to do a lot of things in a very risk adjusted manner to try and get the best outcome. And that's how Dyna came in. And then we started with the first, which was in some sense the no-brainer product, which was the equity long short fund,
True. True.
which is, let's say, for want of a better word, is like a anywhere you go approach, any stock
Hmm.
approach. There's no limits to
Hmm.
anything. And then of
Hmm.
course you have the 0 to 25 limit there. And I think fortunately we launched it in February. So I must say that from a launch perspective, it was a bad time because we missed
Hmm.
that whole, if I may use the word, the whole IPO rush.
Yes.
2023-24 was a bit of an IPO rush, right? Any
Hmm.
any product came in, you put a little bit of advertising,
Yeah, it was just
you
slipping
just
its
you
way.
just you just you just drum it into the system, and suddenly investors were happy to give you lots of money. So in that
Hmm.
sense, yes, I was not very thrilled with the start because we
Hmm.
barely raised about 101 crores.
Hmm.
And but yeah, I think the good thing was that it came out in the end of Feb. March was, as you know, what happened in March was just 2 days before in fact, we got our cash on Feb 27th.
Hmm. Hmm.
So just a day before the bombing. And yeah, so I think fortunately for me, we were able to prove PPT
Hmm.
to NAV quite quickly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Somebody
Hmm.
looks at our current portfolio, looks at what we've done. This last 2 months, or last 3 months, which is March, April, may have sort of been reflective of almost like maybe in some cases 3, 4 years. The kind of action which happens in 3 years actually happened in 3 months. You had a war, you had a supply breakdown, you had an oil
Hmm. Hmm.
spike, you had interest rates going all over the place. So this typically, in our experience happens not in 3 months. It typically takes a lot of time.
Yes.
But in
Yes.
our case, it's all happened. So for me, it was easy to show the benefits of a SIF, thanks to that timing. And then after that, immediately we followed up with a much more conservative offering,
Yeah.
the
You
asset
nailed the point. You
allocator.
nailed the point because it couldn't have been a better timing.
Yeah, and so yeah, am I obviously, given where I have worked in my past and given what I do, given where I work today, I think obviously the numbers are, I think, lower compared to what I would have hoped to get. But I'm only happy that I think in the last couple of last 3, 4 months, we've added lots of partners. So we have now almost 2,000 partners empaneled,
Mm,
more than 2,000 partners empaneled with us in the SIP space.
true.
And a lot of them are actually, if not anything, for want of a better word, are observing
Mm,
and will take whatever action they take once they get comfort with the product.
sure, sure, sure.
And that's the logic also of doing X Top 100 because again, we really feel that the X Top 100 is the next decadal opportunity.
Yeah, yeah,
Number
yeah.
two, we are doing it at a time where obviously markets are not great. Uh, may not be great for sales because that's the time when people want to see a lot of
True.
momentum, and then that's the time they tend to deploy. But and I know, Suren, that investing in adverse times is possibly a great starting point.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do here. So, our
Fantastic.
seniors in the company were very clear that you have to put it out right now, irrespective
Hmm.
of what happens. And, let's do our best. And that's what we've been doing. So
Absolutely.
we're
Yeah.
doing the same old stuff. I mean, 20 road shows, lots of
Yeah.
calls. So there's a lot of inputs that are happening.
Right, right.
Outputs, I'll be able to tell you on the 20th once I get clarity on what happens.
So, well, for our viewers, 361 as Asset has launched their new fund offer of Dyna SIF Equity X Top 100 Equity Long Short Fund. So, this is the new fund offering, which we'll be discussing today with Raghav, launched on 5th of June and closing on 19th of June. So, Raghav, of course, like you've launched already strategies like equity long short and then asset allocator, now the X Top 100. Now, how does this fund differentiate from the other two strategies already running?
No, so in terms, let me start with the risk part, Suren. This
Yeah.
is in terms of the SIF umbrella. This is
Uh,
possibly one of the riskiest fund that's available. Right? Because what this product will do is it will deploy a minimum, and I'm saying a minimum of 65% in stock number 101 upwards, right? In
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
of, I
yeah.
mean, sorry, downwards in terms of market capitalization. You do have a sleeve of 0 to 35 in up to 100 in the top 100 stocks, but the basic premise is 65 to 100 has to be in X stock.
Bottom markets.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the reason we are doing it is, I think you're seeing a massive amount of sector rotation which is happening now in the
Mm.
stock markets, right? I think sectors which were really doing well 5, 10, 15 years back are all sort of getting a bit disrupted or newer things are coming in. Now, interestingly, a lot of that opportunity actually sits in mid and small cap companies.
Mm, mm, mm.
Now, the beauty of this structure is that unlike our any other product platform, there is no restriction, Suren, on how much of percentage I have to be in a particular capitalization. I mean,
Mm, mm,
technically,
mm.
if the fund management team wants, they can make this portfolio small cap majority or mid cap majority or a mix of both. So, unlike some places where you have to have a minimum percentage, you have to have a minimum, amount of money that you put in. यहाँ पे वो नहीं है. It's
Mm.
completely free for the fund manager. So in that sense, it gives the fund management team a huge amount of flexibility to really pick bottom up stocks without worrying about percentages and stuff like that. Yes, of course, we do have a huge risk management story, and that's where our equity team comes in very strongly because fund management is also not about return management. It's also a lot about risk management.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the ethos within 361. I think if you see we are a very very old team. We have Anup who's been in the markets for more than 2.5 3 decades almost. And I think one thing that he really focuses on personally and as a process within the firm is that what's the risk management on a particular position that we are taking, right?
Sure.
So yes, so that's the idea is that to try and get, and here this is a mix match of two strategies. So we're trying to, obviously there won't be short here. I mean, the plan is not to use short. So this is not a, let me put it this way, a defensive mid and small cap kind of an offering, right? I mean, the shorts will be used more for us, if possible, to make money for our
Hmm.
investors or attempt to make money for our investors because the idea is that we try and get into short positions where we see something which is very, very outlandish, very
Yeah.
stupid valuations, possibly governance issues, maybe newer competition coming in, eating away your business. Those are places. So it's going to be very, very tactical. So that's something that I want to make up and front and center to everybody on this show that I think this is not a mid and small cap fund with downside protection. Right.
Mm.
So we of course we do retain that ability thanks to the whole SIP structure. And obviously where we see valuations very frothy or really outlandish, which can happen in this sector, we will attempt to obviously then take corrective action. But the idea here is, at least on the long term, is not to do that in a meaningful way on a day-to-day basis, right?
Sure.
So I think this is where the opportunity is today, is that you have possibly India's next heroes coming out of this possibly 101 to onwards. Uh,
Hmm.
a lot of activity happening there again, but it's a lot of story.
Hmm.
I think a professional fund manager is needed at this time, Suren, because
Hmm.
sometimes the stories get far ahead of their the stock
Hmm.
performance and as built on narratives, which then get very far ahead of what's actually getting delivered. And then the market is obviously the market, right? I mean, if you don't perform, obviously you're going to get bashed up. So
Sure.
I
Sure.
think beyond a point, I think you need someone whose day job is to just look at this on a regular basis, make sure the right decisions are being taken with the right frameworks, with the right theses, and then more importantly, wherever things are not working, take that call and get out immediately, right?
Sure.
So I think that's the critical thing over here, and if we get that going, I think it'll be a great experience for our investors.
Absolutely. So tell me, Raghav, this X top 100 long shot, uh, purely understanding the product more into mid and small. So will it have a larger number of stocks in the portfolio compared to your other strategies? If you could just
Yes, it
explain
will.
that a bit more.
It could have logically, because
Yeah.
obviously one part of risk management is not to have very concentrated positions.
Right.
So if you
Right.
take some of our other stocks and some of our other schemes, especially in the in the long short equity space, we have about 55 stocks, but out of them
Hmm.
about 8 to 9 are actually short positions. I
Mm.
think here you could see a similar number, but
Mm.
mostly in the long side.
Mm.
So yeah, I think obviously diversification is important.
Important here.
Especially
Sure.
when we are looking at this mid and small cap space, having
Mm.
concentration is difficult. Now, I don't want to put a percentage on it, so by saying I won't go more than 1%,
Of
2%.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's the theory of this fund. That
Mm.
will do very well in our other schemes, especially Quant 361. Quant has all those uh, risk management filters. But in this one, in some sense, it's really going to be up to the fund management team, led by Mayur, who will be taking that call. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. Now, when we think about long short, strategies, it's a very disciplined way of investing, right?
Yeah.
Now, what gives 361 Asset, the confidence that yes, they can do this, and hence, this is the third product getting launched in
I
your
think
SIF.
I think two things. I think one is more than the management, Suren, it also depends on the type of investor that we're attracting.
Right, right.
So we're not really attracting if I may to put it, the NFO investor in this. This is somebody who's already got a portfolio. That's where I think regulator has put a 10 lakh rupee
Mm,
starting point, right, per pan. So in that sense that they've already given you a bit of a threshold. So the opinion is that, hey, if someone's got, so it's not somebody who's going to be, let's say, coming into investments for the first time. This is somebody who wants an MF plus or maybe a managed products plus kind of an experience, who's looking for something like a little differentiated, but in a very nice, open-ended, regulated, transparent manner, right? And that's where I think this product is a lovely match, a lovely mix up between both AIFs and PMS and on one side and on MFs on the other side. So it's sort of taken the best of both and put it in. From a management perspective, I think I can only say this: proof of the pudding is in the eating.
mm-hmm,
We see, I think the way we operate, and here's where the culture is very important. Three things I think we use long before it became fashionable. We use a lot of automation. We use something called the 361 Investment Wiki, which
mm,
already uses a fair amount of AI to sort of
mm.
help make better investment decisions. It doesn't replace the portfolio analyst, but it helps add on to and make
Yeah,
it just little better,
it
right?
supports the process.
Support. So
Mm,
that is also ensure two things, that we are able to cover more stocks
mm,
in a very systematic and risk management way. That's not some arbit stuff. We can really come in and we've got this on our system. It's very transparent. You can get through anything that you want. All our and I think the second thing is that what Anup has done very well is to handle the investment culture, the team culture.
mm, mm.
So, our Wednesday meetings are sacred. No outside meetings happen. The whole team, right from the analyst to the CIO, sits in the same room, discusses. every position, all the things that we do. So when you're looking at all this collective wisdom put together in a framework that we have, I think that's a very powerful process to put out and hopefully benefit our investors and partners here.
Sure, sure. Tell me, 361 Asset Management is now a, full-fledged asset management, brings all the mutual fund products,
Everything. Yeah,
everything,
we've got
everything,
everything.
everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now the SIFs as well. So if, since you travel, since you meet so many distributors, partners, advisors, investors, where do you exactly see an SIF fitting in, as well as the new fund, the Dana, equity X top 100 long short, fitting into a client's portfolio?
I think it's a great question, Screen, because when I think about it, I say, hey, we've got all these products, and more often than not, sometimes the partner on the other side or gets a bit confused because he said, "मैं
Yeah.
क्या बेचूं?" Because I've
Mm.
got your mutual fund, we've got PMS, we've got AIFs, and of course now we've got the SIFs. See, I think SIFs are a great step up to mutual funds, right? If you ask me today, because as I said, they bring a combination of best of MF, best of managed products under a beautiful regulated, transparent umbrella. From a partner perspective, it's great because you're dealing with the same set of people. It's the same registrar. It's the same feeds. In some sense, it's the same trail brokerage. All that basically nothing shifts, right? Comes automatically onto your cash, gets all your reporting done, which is now become pretty much table stakes for
Yeah,
any
yeah,
partner, right? Today, a
yeah.
partner needs that when you have a new product launch, I think the first thing they ask you is, "Hey, boss, when will this come onto your system or no? How do I
Mm,
check the
mm,
performance?"
mm,
All that is very easily done because this is just a plus plus system, right?
mm, mm.
So ideally for a partner, it's not meant for everybody. I think what I'd request my partners to do is don't treat this like a standard
Mm,
IPO, NFO type of a thing and just go boom,
mm.
boom, boom and go everywhere. Spend that
Yeah.
little bit of time, do a bit of an 80/20 analysis, pick up
Mm,
from your list of customers, people who you think are capable of understanding this product well.
yeah.
Maybe make a short list, 5, 10 people, and then go out and talk to them about it.
Mm, mm,
Chances are that somebody's already talking to them about more specialized products.
mm,
That's been my experience of travel. That when they go out and they do this, Suren, when they go out and meet a few people, somebody's already told them, "Hey, I've already talked about these things to
mm,
other people." Specifically applies more to alternates because the my MFD is always thinking that alternates is my client doesn't believe in it, but that you'd be surprised when they have that first conversation. People say, "No, no, no, this conversation is already having. मुझे पता नहीं था कि आप भी करते हो."
आप भी करते हो.
So I think
Mm,
that's a great shift. Number one. Number two, I think it's a very, very uncrowded market today. I think as of what I remember last, Suren, my data may be a bit off, but I think less than 7,000 people have cleared the exam. So my sense is out of that, take 2,000 out, which is people like me and the MF, the asset management gang, which is really not selling. So you have hardly 4, 5,000 people who are
mm,
actually doing this. So it's a great discerning point too, because I think to some extent now, given the amount of stuff that's available on the public domain about MFs, they've become a bit, if to use the word commoditized.
yeah.
It's people are saying, "अरे यार ठीक है तो कुछ," so they want something differentiated. They want you to come and tell them something a little different, a little which is not the standard MF
True,
SIP
true, true.
conversation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they say, "How can we achieve that for you?" And this is possibly one tool that can happen. And that's why we thought that 361 is anyway. We are positioned in the market as an affluent brand, right? Our wealth management serves the top 10,000 families of India, right? Our institutional broking serves maybe the top 400, 500 institutions, India and globally. So very clearly, it's not a mass market product, right?
Yes,
So from that perspective, for me, DynaSif is an ideal product because it fits right into the box where a partner can take it to. It's an aspiring brand, if I were to put
right,
it that way.
right, right.
Right. And when you go and do that to a 10 lakh rupee or a 20 lakh rupee investor, I think it sort of fits in their mindset too.
Correct.
Go and
And,
tell
and
them
it is
that, hey,
much more, and it,
this is coming from, India's institutional back
yeah,
and asset management company. It's a listed business. These are what they do, and this is all the strategies they have. And this is something quite different, which is X top 100 or long short equity or asset allocator.
yeah.
A great product to do. But having said that, I'll just like to say that the risk is high in the X top 100 Surin, because as I said, in terms, it's risk band 5. In the entire SAF category, my sense is this is possibly the most risky product.
Hmm.
We are really dealing with small and mid cap companies,
Yeah,
where obviously the success stories are all there for us to read and cheer, but there are enough fatalities also.
correct.
Our belief and our hope is that our capability around this asset class, given our research coverage, extensive research coverage, the tenure of the team, the speciality of people who work with us, will hopefully avoid us making some of those mistakes, and in that sense, give a better experience to our investors and to our partners.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, in fact, thanks. I would have asked you the next question, which you already answered in terms of how
Sorry,
the
my apologies. I've
no, no.
been we're just so well tuned, Suren. That's the thing, I think. So.
I completely agree to that. In terms of how the distributors and partners are warming up, and of course, you mentioned very well that yes, it is something, you never know that your investor is listening about this fund, reading about this fund from somewhere else, and acha, aap bhi karte hain. So it's like warm up and get into it's very important.
Correct.
Correct. One question is that how are the internal sales team coping up with SIFs as a strategy? Because it's fairly new, it's a little complicated, definitely than our mutual funds. So what's the excitement level at the sales team?
No, no, so it's very high because obviously when you're doing something new, that's where the
Uh,
maximum excitement is, right?
yeah,
A lot of the sales guys over here are very senior, Suren. So they've, in some sense, they've seen the magic of the whole MF journey.
yeah,
Having said that, I think now the MF space is a great space for us because we're very under-owned there. And I think if we go and talk of our capability and what we can do for an investor, definitely gives us an audience. But this gives us a much sharper audience.
yes,
And
yes.
very clearly, this is the plan that we have to have a sharper audience because
Mm,
we are not everybody's in that sense. So it's,
mm,
it's great because we were amongst the first people who started the whole certification process. So many people don't know this, but I think, yeah, obviously my competition knows it because they keep coming very often. But 361 Wealth has possibly the highest number of certified RMs in the
yeah.
system. Yeah, in from a wealth management perspective, right? And every day new people are getting certified. So the whole sales team is completely certified.
Mm, mm,
As you rightly put it, this is our third launch.
mm.
Obviously, we did a lot of work and we continue to do that. So my belief to them is, hey guys, just look at this as MF industry of 20 years back. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so maybe your initial pickup will not be great. You may not get that 1,000 crores in the IPO. You will not get all those great things that will happen. But just think of the brand that you're building, one,
Yes,
for the
yes.
company, and number two, building for yourself. Because that's when
Correct.
10 years later, people will remember you. Hey, you came in and you told us and you sort of pushed us to towards this asset class. And it's really worked well for us.
Absolutely. Very true. Very true.
So,
Very
and I,
true.
and I, and I think more people will come in from the manufacturing side. That's already happening.
Yes, it's already
So I
happening.
guess so I guess it's great, but so more people come in, it's better for us because it just popularizes the category. And in that process, obviously, then you get your rightful share. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Um, what message would you like to give to all the viewers listening to you, Raghav, about SIF as a strategy? And I'm particularly asking about for the partners and the advisors because I think we need more partners and advisors, jumping into this, qualifying and start showcasing SIF as a strategy because how I think it's really, really a fantastic strategy wrapped completely in good governance and fantastic compliance.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
It couldn't be better. Correct. So, what
Absolutely.
message would you like to give about that, as well as your Dyna SIF Equity X Top 100 long short fund?
I think the first part, Suren, is that yeah, embrace this category. It's very important. And I'm not saying it because I've got an NFO going or something. I mean, I've been a veteran of too many of these things in the last 25 years. This is really something different. It's not old wine in a new bottle, as we would
Mm,
call it, right?
mm,
It's really something different, and the fund management houses who get it right will really be able to make an impact to investors. And hopefully, 361 Dyna will be one of them, right?
sure.
Number two is I think this is a great way to get intergenerational movement, right? Today, a
Mm,
lot
mm,
of people are worried about practice management, and I'm sure
mm,
Suren at Advisor Coach, you get a lot of those today.
mm.
Like, hey, I've built this practice. How do I get my second generation or my
Yes.
next line to look at this? And some part of my travel has told me that the second line or the second generation is not keen on just repeating the success of their parents, uncle, brother, sister, etc. They want to do something a little different. So in some sense, this is a great product class to get in. And all of them are, by the way, very well educated, very well
Mm,
qualified.
mm,
Many of them are CFPs, CFAs. They want to do so. So they understand the product construct very, very well. When you go and explain it to them, the pickup is in almost practically instant. So
mm,
it's a great way to sort of move in and say, hey, this is a second business line. Why don't you take it?
mm.
You do the stuff, and today, thanks to AI, you can do a lot of data management. You can do a lot of data analysis very, very easily compared to what you would do, say, 5 years back. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they just pick up your investor database, load it up into Claude or ChatGPT or Google Gemini, whichever you want to do, ask it a set of questions, and it'll come back to you with a beautiful set of answers, right?
Mm,
Which was difficult to do even as recent as maybe 3, 4 years back.
mm.
And then you have your whole set. So the point I'm making is that today technology plus product is really attractive to the next line. And that's very
Yes.
important today from our industry perspective because we are an aging industry in that sense, right? We have to get, and we are very small. I'm very proud of ourselves that we've got built it into an 80 lakh crore industry. But my
Mm.
view is, Suren, this should go 10x from here.
Yeah.
And for that 10x, you need people, right? You don't just need you don't need AI. Actually, you need people to manage. So that's the second part. The last part, of
Yeah.
course, from
Yes.
an X100 perspective,
True.
I think this is a unique fund because it's very flexible in terms of its
Mm.
investments. We do have a significant capability, we feel, on the small and mid cap space, and because we do a huge amount of bottom up research, we also bring a lot of experience and culture into the whole management of the scheme, which is very important. Uh, the people who are running it, Mayur specifically, who's the portfolio manager, has got extensive small and mid cap experience.
That's true. Yeah.
And
Mm.
so he has demonstrated some expertise. And of course, when you add it up with the team and all the other guys in the long short space, it's a great combination. So I would really look forward. I would in fact ask all the people who are watching to put some of their own personal money, if you can. I mean, most of you have investments in you. I think it's a great way to do it. I do it all the time. So there's not a single fund which I have launched in 361 Suren where I have not put any money.
Mm.
And we have worked together in the past. So that's been my playbook for the last 8, 10, 12 years.
Very true.
And,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I've benefited by it. Let me tell you that because otherwise that money would be sitting in some random bank account earning stupid amount of interest.
Very
I
true.
would have been cursing. So I'm happy that I work in this industry.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes.
I think have faith in the entire India growth story. I think net, that's the last point. You'll get a lot of noise around that, especially over the next 3, 4 months. I think the negative news flow will be definitely more than the positives.
Yeah.
I think it's important to sit sometimes and be where you are. And if you're very worried, just take a trip maybe to a tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 city, and you will understand progress at a ground level. And
Yes.
yes,
Very
rather
true.
than relying on some headline that you read, see here, or some, WhatsApp forward or something which really pictures us. I'm not saying that I think at this time is where if you have maximum self-confidence in the India growth story is where, frankly, a lot of good will be made. So
Absolutely.
yes, I think at 361, Suren, we are not really worried about getting into categories where we believe we can really make a difference, and that's the reason why we did X Top 100 right now. It's a difficult environment. I know it's not easy, but my belief and my experience has always told me that when you launch things in a difficult environment, people who help you or sort of be get into that product at that time
Absolutely.
generally statistics show that they've had a very good experience, especially over the medium to long term.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
like everyone else, I'm the RM for 361. I know there's a team below me, not a very big team, but we are all there in today's WhatsApp connected world. Frankly, we are all super connected. So I'm very happy to take any comments, any feedback. Suren, of course, is a dear friend, apart from being an advisor coach. So anything that you want to post and you want to give him some feedback, he will happily, in his
Absolutely.
manner, give it to me straight away. And I
Absolutely.
also believe that a lot of my stuff, which I do, Suren, on the marketing side, on the promotion side, actually, if it resonates with our partners, it's really a 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. Something
Absolutely.
if my partners feel I'm not doing right or I should do more of, I'm very happy to do it. Yes, I don't. I mean, a small fund house, as you know, small by AUM, but reasonably okay by profits. But given that nature of our fund and that we are not a mass market fund, I'll not do billboards and all that tamasha much. But having said anything else, any ideas, any suggestions, happy to take. And yes, as always, we really need support, not only for the NFO of X Top 100, Dan X Top 100. Generally, I think. it's a great fund house. It's a great platform to get associated with. And I really try and make our customer service really top class. And I think it's important, Suren, that we are all a set of people from the market. So
Mm.
I think everyone in my team is known to everybody. So that way, I think the connectivity also in today's world is very, very important for a partner. So I would
True.
say product, people, obviously process, and last, of course, because you're a small team, hopefully my pricing should be okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you said it so rightly, one plus one is equal to three when you put good people to work on it.
Yeah,
So true, so
absolutely.
true, so true. So well, for our viewers, this is Mr. Raghav Iyengar, Chief Executive Officer with 361 Asset, talking about a new fund, Dyna SIF Equity X Top 100 Long Short Fund. The NFO opened on 5th of June and closing on the 19th of June. Well, Raghav, thank you very much for joining in today, and always, always wonderful to have our conversations together.
Yes, same here.
And
Same here, sir. Thank
wishing
you so
you and
much on behalf of the team at 361. Really appreciate your efforts, advisor coaches' efforts. I think really God bless this partnership.
thank you so much, thank you so much, and wishing you and the team the very best for this NFO as well.
Thank you.
And for our viewers, in case you have not subscribed to the Advisor Code YouTube channel, it's very simple. You see the subscription button, just press it there. For these wonderful podcasts and updates from knowledgeable people like Raghav, so that you get alerted every time they come. So thank you very much, Raghav, for
Thank
joining
you.
in, and all the
Thank you.
best. Thank you, thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.